Hello friends, Jim here with Science Talk, and I have a report that deals with corn, maize, and this is more of this type of story I've been following, what heat does to crop yields and that like as well. And basically, rising heat will reduce the harvest of maize, corn. And we know that maize is a very important crop. And even though corn is a C4 plant that can tolerate hotter, drier conditions, it goes to show you that even they can only tolerate so much before they start being adversely affected. So European scientists are warning that within a decade, maize harvest will suffer as global temperatures will reach a level that will turn the once-in-a-decade extremes of heat and drought into the new normal. This is alarming. That will mean that the worst production losses ever felt by corn farmers will happen with increasing frequency. If global planetary temperatures reach 1.5 C above the long-term average for almost all of human history. World's, the lowest estimate is that we're already at 1 degree above. I've seen some other estimates take it as high as 1.3, 1.4 C above. What if temperatures reach 2 degrees C? Well, farmlands where maize once flourished will be hit by heat and drought events never before experienced. And if the large agribusiness corporations will suffer, so will small subsistence farmers who depend on their crop to provide for their families. Already the warming in the last few decades has begun to hit yields. The scientists reckon that maize yield within the 28 European member states is 290,000 tons a year lower than it would have been without global warming. 195 nations met in Paris in 2015, right? We know about that. And they said they pledged, we'll keep it down below 2 degrees C, and their target was a rise of no more than 1.5 degrees C. Ain't happening. It's going to blow past 1.5. The question is now we'll be able to keep it below 2. We'll find out in a few decades, right? If not sooner. So what's the plan? What are the nations doing currently? Well, they're trying to switch to solar and wind power. And in Europe, especially Germany, they're making quite big strides there. The U.S., need I say more? So a new study by the European Union's Joint Research Center in Ispra, Italy, which is published in the journal Earth's Future, they're not so much worried about the average, but about the extremes that over the course of a year make up that average, and that will drive up the loss of one particular crop, that being maize. Maize is now the world's biggest single crop, more so than rice or wheat. It's maize. The U.S. is the most important producer, but the EU ranks 4th in the world, producing an average of 65 million tons a year for food and cattle fodder, cattle feed. This warm climate crop is at certain points in its growing season vulnerable to heat stress and to drought. Even though it's a C4 plant, it will still be adversely affected by heat and drought conditions. Heat stress seems increasingly certain. I've done previous videos where I talk about not only heat but humidity, or on the other case, heat and drought. So with the rising heat, you can either have a situation where dry areas become drier, so leading to drought condition, but at the same time, heat can also, warmer air can hold more moisture, so now then you increase the humidity. So it's the combination of heat and drought, or heat and high humidity, that will prove to be devastating. Researchers have warned repeatedly that higher average planetary or regional temperatures will mean increasingly intense, frequent, prolonged, potentially dangerous extremes of heat, and those areas already vulnerable to drought are likely to see much more of it. Dry areas will get drier, wet areas will get wetter, while other regions become more at risk of catastrophic flooding. Agricultural scientists have already confirmed that untimely spells of heat and drought have started to slash cereal yields at measured across whole regions or per field. So they've already confirmed untimely spells of heat and drought have started to greatly reduce cereal yields as measured across whole regions or per field. Now, of course, if you start losing crops start failing, along with the ever-increasing human population, guess what that's going to mean as far as feeding people? Hunger is going to increase with the possibility of increasingly widespread famine. Although the U.S. has increased production, this too will be vulnerable to further warming. The World Meteorological Organization has just warned of an already warmer, hungrier world. I've done the recent videos discussing the assessments from the World Meteorological Organization. Please check it out if you haven't seen it. European researchers report that their analysis of past and future maize production surveys a range of outcomes. In one of these, the worst could start to happen as early as 2020. That's next year. They suggest greater efforts to meet the goals set in Paris, and even with those, farmers and agricultural ministries will need to find ways to adapt. They end their report in very blunt language, and that's needed. We found, and I'm quoting, we found that global warming will substantially increase the risk of maize production losses in most world regions, including the United States. The climatic events affecting historical global maize production once every 10 years will become normal at the 1.5 degrees C global warming level, which is reached in the 2020s in most of the analyzed climate model simulations. At the 2-degree warming level, approximately late 2030s, our projections suggest that global maize production will suffer from unprecedented losses. Now, the modeling to temperatures is based on current, all systems as go as they are now. In other words, no change in any practices, just keep on doing what humans are doing. So this is a blunt report. This is an alarming report. As I've said before many times, scientists collect the data, we analyze it, we present our findings, we present our implications, we present what it means, and what the likely outcomes are going to be. We can suggest policies to address the issues that the report examine. We can make all these suggestions. Scientists don't implement. It's up to the politicians to get off their asses, grow a pair, and start implementing these policies. Which means we have to break the control by the lobbyists. But that gets into the realm of politics, and this is a science channel. I try to avoid politics. I present to you what the latest science is. Nevertheless, this is very alarming. Their findings, their statements, their conclusions need to be listened to and heeded and acted upon with utmost alacrity. Thank you for your time. Hey folks, this is Jim here reminding you to please subscribe to my channel and please share my videos with others. Also remember to click the bell so that you know when I drop in a new video. I also ask that you please consider becoming a patron of my channel and support the work that I do by going to patreon.com/Science Talk with Jim Massa, each word separated by an underscore, and becoming a patron. It's asking for as little as $3 a month, cost of a cup of coffee, to support the work I do and keep my informative videos coming your way. Thank you for your support.